Hey y'all, hope you've been doing well. Today I got to show you guys something cool. This is the Lekato Looper Pro, and if you've seen it online, actually this one says Loop Station. What I was going to say is the Looper Pro and the Loop Station are actually, it seems like the same exact design. So if you look on Amazon and you're trying to find a review to see what this is like, it seems like they're the exact same pedal. But obviously, as I've said a couple times now, it's a looper pedal, but not just that, it's got a couple other cool features that really expand the looper functionality that you might expect from something in this price range. It's $60. And as well, it's got a built-in tuner. So, for instance, if you've got a really tight board already and you don't have room for a looper, but you'd like one, kick your tuner off. This is about the size of the TC Electronic Polytune Mini, any of the TC Electronic mini pedals. And this is a looper and a tuner in one. And I'll talk a little bit how you can navigate this thing. It's pretty easy to use, but some cool looping features we have here. We've got an LCD screen, which is not something I've seen totally often. And actually, when you hit record the first time and you're looping through, you'll see a flashing blue LED go through very slowly, clockwise. This is letting you know how much of the maximum 10-minute looping time you've used up. So hit record, that'll go very slowly, and if you're recording a really long ambient loop, maybe you'll get 3/4 of the way and you'll know it's time to wrap it up. Hit stop again, and then when you overdub, it'll shorten that whatever 7-minute take that you did to the entire length of it. So now you can be sure that when you hit overdub again, it's going to start at the beginning and it's going to end all the way at the bottom. So it kind of lets you know where you are in the loop. If you're recording a very long loop, it's very useful to know generally where some chord changes might be if you're making ambient music, and I'll show you how you can get creative with this in a second. But it just seems like a very nice feature that I haven't really seen on any other looper pedals, let alone something that's $60. So the tuner, the LCD display, but also something that I found really cool, and I'm looking forward to using myself in my own projects, is the ability to store WAV files on this, presets. So you've got 9 banks that you can store different sounds in. Let this be a backing track to back you up on a solo gig, or just kind of a drone to play in between songs that your band's playing at a set, or maybe just some background music, or maybe an odd noise that you don't have a way to get that on stage. Store it on the looper, and you can play it through your guitar rig. It's pretty useful, I think, and I'll show you how I can use that in a second. So let's take a second and just check out the very basic looper controls that we have before we dive into the more in-depth stuff. So if you've used any other compact single-switch looper solution pedals out there, you're going to find that the Lekato Loop Station functions in the same way as they do generally. So you press the single switch to start recording, press it again to stop, and it'll begin playing back automatically. Press it again to overdub on it, and press it again to stop overdubbing. When you want to delete your loop, you press it twice very quickly and hold it down, and the LCD screen will flash to let you know that it's being deleted. Keep holding it down and it'll be gone. And then finally we have a master volume like on any other looper pedal. So when you hit record, it's actually going to be a red light that goes around the perimeter, not blue, as I said before. You'll hit record and it'll start here. You'll just see one little light up, and as we wait, remember I said this is a maximum of 10 minutes, so it's going to take a while until you see the second light show up. Let's play something a while. There's the second light. Let's delete that loop, and you'll see the blue start to come back. You'll see the blue light going around, and that'll show you how far along you are in the loop. And it started again there. If we're going to record over it, hit it again, it'll turn red to know you're in recording mode. You'll hear the playback in a second. Alright, let's say we want to switch to a different recording. Let's hit 5, this will finish, and then it'll go totally blank. Play maybe a minor section. switch back to number 4 now. So now we've got, you know, what you might call a verse and a chorus option in a single looper pedal. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. Now granted, you do have to bend down and press those buttons to switch between the different banks, but there's a solution. There is a USB port on the side of it that normally you'll use to load the WAV files if you want to, you know, bounce some tracks in there, some backing tracks or other cool sounds. But the alternative solution to not having to bend down and press those switches is you'll connect a separate pedal that they sell. It's pretty cheap as well. Just buy that USB cord, and now you've got a pedal about this big that'll be used to switch between the different banks, the different pre-recorded sounds. So even if we powered this thing off, right, it's actually going to remember what I just played in looper 4. You'll see me switching through here. When it's already got something saved on it, the blue lights will show up. So there's number 4, what we had recorded before, and number 5. Now we're playing number 5 back. Lastly, the tuner function. You can get to it by pressing both of these middle switches at the same time, and we're getting a reading. It'll tell you what note you're playing. And my guitar is in tune right now, so you're going to see a single blue LED light up. If it's not in tune, it'll show either flat to the left, in tune is blue center, or sharp to the right. And although there are only 5 LEDs showing how close you are, I find that when it gets to the blue, you are pretty much dead on, as much as the tuner in my Helix would be. So it is precise, although it doesn't have a lot of different LEDs to show you how far off you are. When you get to that blue center spot, you're going to be dead on. So all in all, a really cool, well thought out design, a lot of features that are easily accessible in this thing, but let's look at some of the possibilities that we can have by importing WAV files of different sound effects, synthesizers, stuff that you might want to use in your own music. Real quick, I'm just going to demonstrate how we can get WAV files loaded onto this thing. It's pretty simple. In fact, if you have a Windows computer, you're a leg up on us Mac users because you don't have to download a single thing. Your Windows computer is going to recognize it instantly. For Mac users, you just go to the Lekato website. I'll leave a link in the description, and you download the driver from there. What you will need is a USB, I think it's a USB-C cable. It's a very small one. Don't worry too much about it because the pedal actually comes with one for you. I don't know the names of all the USB variations. They're so confusing. There's so many. So plug it in, and it's self-powered now, just from the computer USB power. And I think U for update, something like that. But we'll plug it in there. And then on your computer, we're looking at Logic Pro now on my Mac. I've just recorded a very simple Rhodes arpeggio sound that we're going to play back through the pedal in a second. So there's the recording. We're going to bounce that. Make sure you're on the wave setting. It only reads WAV files, and they need to be 48 sample rate, 24-bit, 48K. If you import some other sample rate, it's going to be faster or slower and in a different key. So just make sure you're at 48K. All right. So we're going to do that, and we're actually going to name the track 1.wave. Okay. And that's how it's going to know which preset to go into. So this is bounced to my desktop. Please don't mind the messy desktop. And we're going to open the application here called Cube Suite. Looper Edit. I already have something there, so I'm going to delete it. And we're going to import wherever this is on my desktop, 1.wave. All right. You'll see it down here going along. So it looks like it imported successfully now to the pedal. It's a 28-second long clip that'll just repeat seamlessly when it gets to the end. I'll put the Lekato Loop Station back on my pedal board, and we'll play it back, and we'll see what it sounds like. I'm going to power up the looper, and when it gets to number 1, you'll see that our recording is there already, hopefully. All right, let's play it back and see what it sounds like. So you just heard the loop back around there, and it goes seamlessly. There's a little bit of a clip there, but you're hearing the great quality sound that this thing's able to provide. provide. If you want to overdub over top of it, of course you can. Now keep in mind, as I switch to another preset here, I'm going to be switching to a guitar preset, so we're going to be hearing the pre-recorded sample through a guitar simulation, which kind of degrades the quality. If you want to really make the most of this, I would suggest obviously not feeding it into a guitar amp, using it and feeding it into something that's very full frequency. But for the purpose of this demo, I think this is what the most people are going to be using it for, and I'll show you just what that sounds like. So we've got a Rhodes piano sound being fed into a guitar amp, which we can then manipulate with other cool effects. There's a little bit of overdrive there coming from the amp simulation. Let's switch to a chorus sound. Or tremolo. That's an auto wah sound. Let's add some reverb and delay to it. We had a reverse reverb going there for a second. So you heard how interesting that got. Just with a simple like Rhodes sample, we created these lush soundscapes with some other effects after it. I'm going to load some more stuff in there that I made and then show you kind of the capabilities of this thing. In loop 1, we've got a repeating drum loop. Simply press it twice to stop it. Please excuse the guitar tone because I'm running into a flat feed now. No guitar amp simulation. Obviously, if you want to use this thing as something that'll play back backing tracks, like I said before, don't plug it into a guitar amp. Plug it into something separate, I think. Whether you have a dual output system that you're running through, or if you're just running it directly into the board, playing your guitar normally. Alternatively, if you've got digital amp simulation on your board, this is very useful because you can just put the looper after the amp sims. So in other words, you're getting the amp simulation on your guitar, and the looper is just feeding through a full frequency response, whatever your amplification device is, you know, like a normal speaker. Save slot number 3 is just a short ambient song that I wrote in 5 minutes or so with a MIDI keyboard. I've loaded it onto the looper, and let's manipulate it. the Lekato Loop Station, or Looper Pro, whatever you want to call it. I hope this video has been helpful to you if you're thinking about picking it up, and if this is new to you, please let me know what you think about this thing. Is it useful to you? What context would you like to use this? I myself see a lot of different possibilities for it. Loading full backing tracks on it, maybe just for practicing, might be a fun thing to do as well. So let me know. I always like to disclose if a product was provided by the company in my videos. In this case, it was, although you guys know I have strict standards. If I don't appreciate it, or if I don't think it's well made, or it's not groundbreaking or useful in any way, I respectfully send it back at my own cost. But in this case, it was provided to me by the company. I tried it, I really dug it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So take that for what it's worth. I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one.